Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Advocate. About 6 months into the job, you're no rookie when it comes to the legal space by any means, but the public protector is its own beast, isn't it? What do you think has been your greatest challenge, or what has surprised you about working in the public protector's office for these last 6 months?
Good morning to you and good morning to your viewers, and thank you for having me on the program. For the last 4 months, what has actually surprised me is the kind of teamwork, hard work, dedication, and a strong conviction to advance the interests of the poorest of the poor people by the Office of the Public Protector, which is contrary to most of the publications that as a person who is outside of that environment, you would be exposed to.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, before you arrived, the public protector hadn't had the best of years, as it were. You had those high-profile court defeats, the CR17 campaign funding, the SA Reserve Bank saga. You'll understand why those were in the headlines at the time. From where you stand right now, having been outside of the public protector and now inside it, how strong are those foundations of the public protector for the important work that you speak of, that you believe doesn't get the attention it deserves?
You know, considering that the mandate of the public protector has actually developed through the case law that we have seen over the recent few years, that the infrastructure of the public protector is not strong enough to carry that. From the former public protector, Advocate Thuli Madonsela, she has continuously made a plea for the increase in the budgeting of the Office of the Public Protector. That is causing the system not to be as strong as it should be. The Office of the Public Protector requires more and an increased number of experienced investigators. It requires better access to research, experts, etc., to further strengthen its process of investigation and the process of decision-making and its systems and controls entirely. And all of that require money, which the public protector at this stage does not have.
Now, speaking of the importance of investigation at the core of what a public protector does, there was some criticism of the roles and responsibility that your position now had. It had changed quite a bit since the public protector, Busisiwe Mkhwebane, had taken office. And there's been some criticism that the roles of investigation work had been taken away to a certain extent from your position as deputy a public protector. And many are saying that's a waste of your talents, especially if you take into consideration your experience as senior deputy director of public prosecutions. Do you think that's a fair concern or fair criticism of the roles and responsibilities that have now been given to the position that you now hold?
I'd like to set the record straight that the duties that have been delegated to me are at the center or are at the core of the Public Protector South Africa Vision 2023. And that is to ensure accountability by the state administration, and that is to ensure that we leverage on stakeholder relations, that is to ensure that we strengthen our memorandums of understanding with state institutions. And it is central to ensuring as well that people have utmost access to the Office of the Public Protector. Now, AJSD, which is Administrative Justice and Service Delivery, carries the majority of investigations that come to the Office of the Public Protector. Therefore, it cannot be that I am not at the center of the investigation. Therefore, all investigations that have been conducted by the investigators at that level from that branch come to me. Additionally, my delegation states that from time to time, the public protector will send additional work to my office. It has indeed been so, even matters of good governance and integrity, which mostly form your fraud and corruption matters. All those matters come through the Office of the Public Protector before they go to the Public Protector for final approval. So I'm given that opportunity to either recommend or not recommend the investigations that would have been done by the investigators and checked by the executive managers.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much. Advocate Kholeka Gcaleka is the Deputy Public Protector, speaking to us there, giving us a sense of the work that she's done since she was appointed about 6 months ago.